Hey guys, my name is Anthony and in today's video I'm going to be talking over my Monaco GP race in WOR. So if you want to see more videos similar to this, make sure to hit the like button and stick around by subscribing to the channel. We've just got our internet back, so I did a stream yesterday and it went really bad. So I am going to try and fix it before TSR on Friday, so just be patient with me. I think the bitrate, I put the bitrate a bit too high in OBS and that was what was causing issue. So I'm going to fix that and make sure we just go back to our old settings for the next stream. So as you can see now, we're about to do we'll finish our first flying lap, which was a 10.2. I just wanted to get a time down and just get a banker just so that I can have a time, because I knew that some people would be struggling to get a lap in. And then moving on to this lap, this was the quickest lap of the session, so I'll leave you guys here and let you see the lap uninterrupted. So as we move into the final couple of corners now, this was a pretty decent lap for someone with no practice, because I had just moved. I was actually using my mobile hotspot to do this race, which was actually a better connection than I thought. But we come across the line to do a 9.2, which leaves us in 6th place. In my tier in WOR, you really want to be doing a 9 flat or an 8.9 as Presto did if you really want to be very competitive around here. So he's got the best position and we stay in 6th place. And as I said before, track position is key around Monaco. And as you can see, we've selected the soft to hard strategy, as we've got 2, 3, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. So we did pick the softer hards, but I didn't know this until literally as we went into the pits. But it seems as if you pit towards, around about lap 8 to lap 10, the mediums can actually last all the way. So as we get a decent start there, we ended up getting a little bit of contact with Constant Ryan, but we managed to do enough to get past him, which was very good on our part. And then we ended up going into the back of Gibby there. I'm honestly surprised I didn't get damage from that. Obviously it being Monaco and it's the first lap, everyone's all huddled together. It really does test the driver's skill to not crash and get wing damage basically on any of the other drivers. It amazes me how the guys in real life can do this without crashing into each other and really getting some serious damage to the car. So it really just is testament to the years of practice and skill that they've gathered up in the real world setting. But my plans for this race, as I said before, it is soft to hards. And that's what I was going into the race thinking, because I believe on F1 2019, it was pretty much a softer hard, like you couldn't do softer mediums. But it seems as if on this game you can. So I didn't really know that until literally as I'm about to go to the pits. But I'll speak about that a little bit more towards the time that we ended up pitting. So as we come across the first lap now, Presto's still leading and we've managed to get in a position which is very rare to do at Monaco. It's very rare to gain positions by passing somebody. So as we move on to the end of the stint now, this is lap 8, I go into the pits, and as I said initially I wanted to go on the hard tyres, but then I seen Gibby go onto the softs, so I thought, okay, well I didn't actually know the softs could go to the end here, and I decided to switch to the mediums. And I mean, in hindsight, it probably should have just sticked with the hards, to be honest, because it would have been a little bit more comfortable. And again, as long as you don't make a huge mistake, then the person behind you is highly likely not to pass you. As you can see right about now, I believe Constant Ryan at this point has wing damage and I just can't get past him because it's like 10 out of 10 difficulty to get past somebody around Monaco. So you can see that my teammate went into the pits there, and I think there's some more footage of that happening during the race, because my teammate was just going into the pits pretty much every other lap. He just couldn't hook up the laps properly around this track, and yeah, I'm guessing he just kept getting wing damage and he had to keep going into the pits over and over again, and it actually ended up causing me some issues later on in the race. So yeah, at this point now, I'm just really wanted to try and get back inside the DRS of Constant Ryan just so that, you know, he can just drag me along when it comes to the track. And you never know as well, you know, Constant Ryan could end up making a mistake which will allow me to pass him, because if he gets more wing damage and is even slower, that's going to mean that I lose even more time than he does, really, to the people in front, because you can see that Gibby's was already, you know, just way away. But we did end up manage to catch back up to Gibby. I believe he maybe had wing damage too, and that's why we were able to catch him back up so quickly, because I think he was 4 seconds in front of Constant Ryan before lap 14, so I'm assuming he got wing damage, honestly. But I was driving pretty consistent this race. You know, it was probably the most consistent I've driven on this track, just in general, because I think I've had maybe 1 or 2 league races here, and I've never really, you know, done that well. I usually got wing damage on the first couple of laps and pretty much just left straight away, because, well, nobody really likes Monaco. But this time I really wanted to complete the race, because when it comes to tracks like Monaco, it's one of those ones where, you know, as long as you're consistent, as long as you're mentally there, you can really get a lot of points. And as we move on to lap 24, we're still behind Constant Ryan, now even closer, just 5 tenths. And this is where the first stupid mistake happens from me. As you can see, just clip the back end of the car, and I ended up moving out of the way from onto the podium just because I decided to reset the track. That was the first stupid mistake I'd done, and now we're back in 6th place. And then moving on to lap 25 now. This is when I go into the pits, because I believe... No, this is when I was catching back up to onto the podium, but then I ended up getting wing damage. And usually when it comes to Monaco, it's better not to go into the pits if you get wing damage. It's better to just stay out. But because of this little incident here, I ended up deciding to go into the pits, because I would have just lost way too much time to the people ahead of me, and there was a 26 second gap between me and Dazed. So I thought that, you know, I had enough time to pit, go onto the soft tires, and just push as much as I can to try and catch back up to onto the podium as much as I can. So that's exactly what I did, and I was doing pretty well. As you can see, we had the fastest lap. And then moving on to this corner now, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I just put a little bit too much on the throttle or what. The back end just spun out on me and we crashed into the wall, and we had pretty bad wing damage. In fact, our entire front wing pretty much fell off at that point. So moving on to the end of this lap now. This is the thing that I wanted to talk about quickly to you guys when it comes to these sort of tracks. And as you can see, this is when I realized that my teammate had pitted again. When it comes to these sort of races, even though it's heartbreaking, even though it's really frustrating to continue on to the race, I really want you guys to continue on, because you could end up with points. And as it turned out, I was speaking to Presto after the race. If I hadn't left, I would have still finished in 9th place and still gathered 2 points, and that would have been 2 points for myself in the drivers and 2 points for the team in the constructors. So even if you go through these horrible races, guys, I don't want you guys to leave. Just push through it and just get to the end, because you never know. You could end up with more points than it may seem at the time that you're going through. Maybe you get held in the pits, or maybe you just had a really bad crash, but your wheels didn't fall off or anything like that. You never know what can happen on tracks like Monaco or even Baku, for example, which is the race I did yesterday. Sadly, I won't be able to make a video on that because the stream sort of messed up and I couldn't really get the replay and I didn't record the race. But yeah, pretty much the moral of this story is don't leave when you're a couple of laps to go, or even if you're not a couple of laps to go, just don't leave, because you could end up with a lot more points than you think when it comes to league racing. So that's how I'm going to end the video here. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button and stick around by subscribing to the channel. I wanted to thank you guys for the support that you've been showing me on the channel recently, and I will see you guys in my next video.